What's up, guys? Welcome to Coach K Answers with 5 reps from Coach K, where I answer 5 client questions that I've received this week. Before we get into those, be sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new content. Let's get started. Question 1. If I'm wanting to slim down, should I focus on cardio? So when we're considering a fat loss phase, the most important thing to consider is a calorie deficit. So your body requires a certain amount of energy to maintain its current weight. You need to eat less calories than that in order to cause fat loss and weight loss. With that in mind, your most important tool is going to be that calorie deficit, and a good diet is going to get you there. In order to help that along, you might think about cardio or total energy expenditure. In addition to your workouts, the total amount of calories you burn is also impacted by how much you move. And that's where something like cardio comes in. Before I consider cardio for my own clients, however, I look at step count. Step count is really indicative of how much you move across the entire day. So I oftentimes recommend clients go up about 2,000 to 3,000 from wherever they're at. So if you're getting 6,000 steps a day, I recommend you get at least 8 to 9. If you get 8,000 steps a day, I recommend getting to 10. If you're really starting to stall out in your weight loss and fat loss efforts, that's where cardio can come in. In addition to your weight training sessions throughout the week, you can include 2 to 3 cardio sessions of about 30 minutes to make sure that you're increasing the energy expenditure. It's a nice bonus to a good diet and a calorie deficit, and it's a nice topping to an overall active lifestyle. But cardio can be a great choice to help you get there. It's not your only tool to get there. Question 2. Should I pause between my reps? So if we're doing a simple exercise for muscle building like a bicep curl, you do in fact want to pause during certain parts of the movement. For example, when I'm extending my arms through the eccentric, when I get my elbows fully locked out, my bicep is lengthened to its maximum. This position I want to pause and try to emphasize a loaded stretch. I'm going to maintain tension here and give it a little pause. I'm going to curl up hard. And at the very top, there is a sort of resting phase here where the weight is just simply resting over my elbow. In that case, I don't want to pause the top of each rep. I also don't want to just pause arbitrarily and breathe heavily in between each of my reps. I want to pause with purpose, getting my arms to lock out, emphasizing full range of motion, using my pause to accomplish that and accomplish a loaded stretch. I don't want to pause to rest or to just recoup during my set. Number 3. What sort of schedule should I have for my workouts? The most important thing to consider if we're talking about strength and muscle building is you want to make sure you're hitting a given movement or muscle group at least twice a week. So any number of schedules can really get you there. You could do twice a week full body, where you're hitting a little bit of everything twice a week. You could do push-pull legs, where you do 1 session for each muscle group twice a week for 6 total sessions. You could do a 3 time per week full body program, 4 time per week upper lower. Those are all going to be pretty equivalent in terms of being able to get you a muscle building stimulus. If you are wanting to focus on a given muscle group in particular, you might try to sprinkle it in somewhere for a 3rd session throughout your week. This can be done by tossing, if you're trying to emphasize your biceps, this could be done by tossing a little bit of biceps in front of your leg day, or by tossing calves on an upper body day if you're trying to emphasize those. But in general, the biggest thing I consider when I'm creating a schedule or a workout routine for my clients is what sort of schedule they can adhere to. What can they be the most consistent with? If they're a super busy professional and are particularly have an active job, then twice a week full body or 3 times a week might be a really good way to go about keeping them consistent and able to progress their program each week. If you've got room for more, you might consider 4 times a week or 5. But ultimately, you want to base your schedule around the thing that you can adhere to the best and be the most consistent with so you can actually make progress in your training. Question 4. What should I eat prior to a workout and when should I eat it? So in general, the recommendation for a pre-workout meal is somewhere like 90 minutes prior to your workout. You want to eat a meal that is pretty high in carbohydrates, low to moderate in protein, and very low in fat. We want to keep the carbohydrates high so you have a high amount of substrate for fuel during your workout. You want to get a little bit of protein in so you feel full and so that you're still contributing to your daily protein needs. we can definitely keep fat a little bit lower because the purpose of this meal is to directly fuel your workout. And we also want to make sure that there's as little interference from your digestive system as possible. If we're aiming for those high carbohydrate foods that are easy to digest, that could be any sort of simple carb. White rice is a really common example. Those little rice cakes are awesome to eat as well. Things like, simple bread, a banana, those can be pretty easy to digest carbs. In terms of protein, you might shoot for only like 20 grams of protein, something that's gonna help keep you full so you're not starving during your workout. The other half of that question is if you're eating immediately prior to your workout, like you're walking into the gym, what should you have to eat? I think something like a really simple carb is just the way to go. Things like pretzels are awesome, and that's my choice of pre or intra-workout carbohydrate. They're just super simple and easy to digest. They provide a bunch of carbs so I can fuel my workouts. They're really easy to handle, so I can even eat them while I'm working out. And they got a little bit of salt, which is useful. Question 5. What's the first thing I should eliminate from my diet? And I'm gonna frame this question in terms of trying to pursue fat loss or generally just trying to eat to stay lean. Generally speaking, the first thing you can cut out is really any liquid beverage that has calories. That isn't a protein shake, of course. If you're drinking a ton of soda or you're drinking a ton of juice, those are things that just provide a lot of sugar and a lot of excess calories essentially, and they don't keep you full at all. So you don't want to waste your calorie allotment for the day by just essentially drinking them and not staying full from actual foods. The other thing to consider here is alcohol. Alcohol is also a liquid calorie. The other big thing to consider with alcohol is that it has a lot of negative behavioral consequences in terms of making you have the munchies and maybe making you a little less disciplined in other ways as well. And it also just wrecks your sleep, which is terrible for fat loss in and of itself. So cutting out alcohol, if there was one thing, alcohol is a really good choice to cut out. That does it for 5 reps with Coach K. Thank you for watching Coach K Answers. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Comment below with any of the questions you want me to answer next week. And be sure to like and subscribe. Share this with any of your family and friends that might find it useful. And remember guys, if you want to make progress, you've got to make progress. I'll see you guys all later.